All right. So some of the biggest mid majors to watch, I think, as we enter March. That's always, the fun thing. Who's going to be the 12 seed to upset the 5 seed? Or more recently, I mean, we've been seeing like crazy upsets, like 15 seeds winning. Maybe we'll get more of that. But yeah, who are some of the biggest mid majors to watch for coming up? You got to mention Gonzaga, of course. They're technically still a mid major. I know some people, you know, they're in a smaller, and what is it, the Western Conference joint, I think?
They're in the West Coast Conference.
West Coast Conference. So you still got to mention them. I would pick Gonzaga and St. Mary's both to watch for that. Gonzaga, I don't know how high of a seed they will be. They're not going to be like a one, but they're going to be pretty high up there. Maybe a one if stuff gets really crazy, but because they only have two losses. And then St. Mary's has four losses right now, but they're very strong. They did have one blowout loss to Vanderbilt, like way back in November or something like that, but otherwise, very strong season by them. Both have had super strong March Madness experience from, of course, past seasons. So I'd watch out for them. You've got to mention Miami of Ohio. Again, I do worry about their strength of schedule, but 29 and 0, I mean, enough said. Like they're winning every game. You have to put them in the discussion. And then another one more I would really watch is Belmont, who I believe is in the Missouri Valley for basketball. Only four losses. The Missouri Valley, they've got Drake, they've got like some of the Illinois schools in there. Like it's a tough basketball conference for a mid-major. So to only have four losses at this point, they've been very solid. I could see them being like a 12 seed or maybe an 11 and surprising some people for sure. Depends on how they do in their tournament, of course. But um, those would be the four. St. Louis, I like them. They've had some ugly losses. We'll see what happens there. Utah State, same. They've been losing a little bit, but those are maybe some other ones to watch. But those would be the biggest four I would watch right now: Gonzaga, Miami of Ohio, St. Mary's, and Belmont. What say you, Jordan?
So definitely Miami of Ohio has to be in this conversation. 29 and 0. I think we mentioned last week or a couple weeks ago that they need to be in the NCAA tournament. Um, Unless I actually don't even think there's a scenario now. Well, I guess they could lose their two final regular season games and be left out and not win the MAC. I guess that's a scenario, but they definitely have to be in this conversation. Like Evan mentioned, Gonzaga, they're technically still a mid-major West Coast Conference, which is not one of the Power Five conferences, Big East included, to go along with the Big 12, Big 10, SEC, and ACC. Um, but yeah, so like I mean, Gonzaga is always there in March. Mark Few's got a amazing program going up there, and I believe they're in Spokane. Amazing program up there. St. Mary's, always a name you have to throw out there. Evan mentioned them, so shout out to him for that. And then I am going to mention St. Louis because I thought they have had a good season. They struggled a little bit recently, but the Billikens actually were ranked this year as high as 18, I believe it was, before losing to Rhode Island, and I don't remember who else they lost to since, but they have to be mentioned, and I would mention those three. Um, so those would be the teams that I would watch. Oh yeah, San Diego State would just be fun to see advance far because I have a friend that went to San Diego State University. Um, I would keep an eye on them too. They're first place in the Mountain West. Really good basketball team out there. Um, Recently beat Utah State, I believe it was. So they showed they're legitimate. So I'd watch out for the Aztecs in March.
Yeah, and San Diego State, of course, a couple seasons ago made the Final Four and made the championship. They didn't win, but some prior success for them too. I just wanted to go back to the Miami of Ohio thing really quick. Like I think at this point with 29 wins, and they'll probably get even a couple more, that even if they lose one game, I don't think you can leave them out. I think they got to be an at-large bid. Two losses, that might be getting a little bit interesting, but one loss, come on, especially at that 30 wins, you got to put them in. I think.
If Miami goes, let's say they go 30-1 in the regular season, right, and don't win the MAC, I would honestly leave them out. As crazy as that sounds.
So if
Um,
they're like 31 and 1, you would leave them out. That's what you're saying?
no, if they go 30-1 in the regular season, and then do not win the MAC and lose in the MAC tournament and have two losses, then I
Oh
would
yeah.
leave them out.
I'm saying any scenario with two losses, they're probably out. I'm saying, but a scenario with one loss, whether it's in the regular season or whether it's in the conference tournament, I think you put them in as an at-large bid.
Well, if they win the MAC, then it's a moot point.
No, I'm sorry, maybe I misspoke. I'm saying if they have one loss in either the regular season or if they have one loss in the MAC, so they're not winning the MAC, that I think you could still put them in as a at-large bid. If they only have one loss, two losses, that's going to be a little bit tough for the MAC because it's not really a strong basketball conference. But one loss, I think you got to make the case to put them in, especially at that 30 wins.
You do. I think obviously if they go 31 and 0, you're playing the. I mean, but with all due respect to the MAC, you're playing with the best the MAC has to offer in the conference tournament. One loss in the conference tournament, I would think they would be in the NCAA tournament, but I'm not on the selection committee, so who knows?